For the business owner, the best way is to go to the website if he need to set up or sign up for Kippy.cloud. So the first person who sign up will be automatically the system owner for this specific domain name. So later on, when people will want to use the account, they will go to the login after they got their password. They can just like go to the login. With this login page here, they will have a lot of information as a guide, videos, demos, also general information related to Kippy and rules, security for FAQ, and Kippy plug as well. So this is very important, informative screen that probably all the user will enjoy before they can log in using the website. So now let's go to sign up. So we click on the sign up as a business owner for the first time. He has to or will go to put their email and then .com and then first and last name. This is Bob Smith, and then a phone number. A phone number starts with the plus and then the area code 905 and the phone number. Select, where did you hear about Kippy, and then that's it, as simple as that. Sign up and you will be in business immediately. Kippy will create your own account, and then the password will be sent to your own email that you created. From this minute, you can begin to create, the strategy, so vision, mission, values, like we talked before, and then you can always add the perspectives and using the setting. We're gonna go over this one very shortly. As of right now, there is a free trial for 14 days. This could be changed off and on depending on the promotion, but in this case, it's 14 days. It's enough to get you up and running if you have the data ready. And later on, you can subscribe depending on how many users you would like to have. Also, the price is very minimal. You can pay by month or by year. So this is how you can set up the system. As you can see, it took me 3-4 minutes to be able to get me up and running through a new account. After I create an account, one of the first things that I need to do is to build the structure, build the tree, organization structure. But before we do this one, we have to make sure that all the information that we need are already built in the CEO before we go and add and click on the plus and add a new team, because we need the new level 2 team to inherit automatically. For example, the strategy, like I mentioned, we have to include the vision, mission, values first for the top CEO. We have to add the perspectives. We're going to show this one next. Also the objectives and the descriptions, in addition to all the KPIs related for the top person. This is very important before we move downward, because we need everything to cascade down. Then the level 2 departments, they can always delete, by asking the owner of the system to delete these KPIs. Uh, if you don't want to cascade down or automatically inherit all the KPI, you can just do the CEO top node with the initial objectives and then the perspective, vision, mission, value, and also stop here and begin to create the structure this way. Not all the KPIs they're gonna cascade because they're not there. And then each department will create their own KPIs and assign ownership to them. So now let's click on the CEO plus. So we're going to add a sub team in addition to the HR department and IT department. So let's click on the plus and it will give us this pop-up window, and we'll say we're going to create a procurement department. Okay, so add a team. It will just take probably a couple seconds. For the procurement department, there's typo there. My apologies. To add to the tree. Okay, so here you go now. You are building the structure as you go. And then later on in the setting, we can show you how to change the name and other items. Also, after we do this one, we have to start to invite people. So here under collaborate, we have to invite people. I have to check to see, what the email of this person. It have to be exactly the same domain name, uh, com. And then we have to select what role. We have three different roles: the manager, who is in charge of this team; the admin, who's helping him or her to manage Kippy for this team. He will have access to the majority of the function of the manager. Also, the user, this is like a normal staff. Uh, he or she could be just like watching, the data, or he could or she could be an owner of a KPI or a project manager or a project, milestone manager. So this is how we do it. So let me assign now a user, and then the team will be the CEO in this case. Okay, let me invite him, and he will receive an email. As you can see here, it's not sending this one because it said it's not the same domain name. So I'm just gonna change it to the same domain name and try again. And here you go now. The invitation is sent to this person. This is how you invite people. And also you can always check to see how many users you have. So in this case, I have only one user and one admin, the system owner. This is myself. Okay, so this is how you create the tree, and then you begin to add user. When the user log in second time, they can always change their own password. One of the responsibilities of the system owner is to govern who can enter the data at what time. By default, for the whole year as the planning goes, the system will lock itself on 1st of February to limit the changes done to the plan. Also, as a default, KPI status will be submitted only within 1 week after month's end. Okay, so 7 days, the user will be allowed to submit their data for the KPIs. So if I need to make an exception, for example, for business support here on the planning side, I'm just gonna give them one extra month. So instead of 1st of February, I'm just gonna make it end of February. So I'm just gonna add a planning rule. I'm just gonna say you have till February, from 1st of February till 28th of February. I'm gonna apply it now. I'm gonna say extra planning time. Okay. So here you go now, adding the planning rule, and for business support, because they require more time, they will have extra month to finish the plan. Same time, I might give them also on a monthly basis extra time to add the actual. The normal time is 7 days, so I'm just gonna add another 7 days and make them 14 days, and apply it and say also extra time for actual data, and then add the rule. And now you can do the same exact thing for a different team as required, allowing them to change the data, be it plan or actual, as per the business requirement. And when it's not needed, you can always remove it. And here we're talking about business support. Business support. Okay, so now this is the lock unlock. Now let's go to the settings. Setting is very important feature that belongs only to the business owner. Who would be the governance uh, body for the system? And then he can just really go to the background and begin to change things. For example, now For any team, the owner can, instead of going to specific panel to see the KPI data, he can in bulk see all the scorecard information for this business support. All of them, as we can see here, are approved. So let's assume that I am gonna create additional uh, KPI here instead of going through the other panel. I can, the good thing about this one, you can literally copy the whole row and also paste it uh, and then make change it as needed, rating 2, and then change this one to decreases better, and change also you have to type 2 to be able to get this one. And then instead of the manager approve it, you will approve it on his behalf and just a click. Okay, so this is how easy it is in the background to go in and add KPIs. In some cases, you might need to copy the whole scorecard as is, just like by highlighting, the whole scorecard, copy, and maybe you can go to different team and then paste it there instead of recreating the scorecard if they are very similar, let's say, or maybe you need to copy a few KPIs from one team to another. So this is how easy it is related to the first tab, which is the setup tab. Of course, uh, you can now go to the subscription and begin to request for more users. You can request for more time. It's a very minimal cost per user. You can approach support to be able to help you out. And also you can pay by credit card here for the number of users if you want to increase them, for example. The third tab is the team. So you can select any team out of all these teams. Let's say CEO, and then we're going, instead of calling CEO, we can call them president, for example, and you just rename it team. Click on this one and you rename the team. Delete the team, and we have to be very careful with this one, not to delete the team, because it will delete all the related information with the team. You can move team around. So for example, business support currently under the CEO, I can go and select a different team as a uh, sub team for it, or it could be a parent team for it. So this is how you move team around. Promote team as well. You can do this one if you want to promote team to bring them upward. Auto refresh, you can always keep this one, because while you're changing the data inside the system, you need the auto refresh to be running for the data to be always updated. Okay, so here you go. You don't want also to clear a team because it will wipe all the data here. This is a warning for this one. Going to the users, also you can now select the default language. Currently it's in English for everybody. You can select, for example, different languages as a default one for the user here. You can edit a user, and here you can add the name. You can add the name after you invite them. You can change the roles, and also the team. You can transfer, if somebody transfer from one team to another, you can transfer in the system. The alias, this is very important. You can add an alias just in case you have a subcontractor and he doesn't have a domain name, email for the organization. So by creating this alias, he will receive the email to his own personal email, like this one. At tree depth, how many layer you want this person to see. So you might need a person who's helping the CEO only within his own team, and you don't want to give him access to see everything in the tree, all departments. So you will limit the depth to one or two maximum instead of keeping it open. Also, some organization need to add the grade. In case you are going on vacation, and this is very highly recommended, you can always assign another system owner to take over or to assist you while you are on vacation. Uh, Maximum of two system owners should be at the same time. This is also, I mean, very critical. Any system owner, they have to know exactly what they're doing to be able to keep the system running efficiently. Okay, so this is the user. You can always edit a user, you can delete a user, you can default also default color theme for the user. So you have a three here: light, medium, dark. Usually I like using the light one, where all the color green and yellow, it will be very light inside the KPIs, graphs and stuff. Reset password. So once on time, somebody will call you and say, okay, well, I lost my password. This is very easy, by the way. You just select the user and then click on this one, reset the user. Automatically, they will receive an email, the new password, and everything they need to be able to log in again. So perspective, we talked about it. We can always add perspective here uh, as a name and description of the perspective. You can rename a perspective from customer. You might need to eliminate the S. You can just say, okay, well, I need them to customer without the S and just rename it, and it will be reflected everywhere. Edit perspective, by clicking on edit perspective, you can change the description and also the relative order, how you want the perspective to show in relative to other perspectives. So if you want, for example, to finance to show up at the top, you might need to put it 4 or 5 or 10. If you want to something to show at the bottom, you might put 0 or 1 or 2. And this is how they will show up in order everywhere in the system visually. And also, you can delete a perspective, and you have to be very careful here when you click on this one, because it will wipe also the data included in the perspective. Objective, they have the same thing. You can rename a objective. You can edit an objective by putting description and also the relative order where you want them to see, which one on top, which one at the bottom. Uh, uh, Delete an objective. You have to be very careful here. And also you can change the parent team objective. So if I'm linking to a my CEO objective X and I want to now link to B, so this is how you can say, okay, well, this is the objective that I want to change, and this is the new parent for it. So you can always begin to realign your objective as needed. You delete the objective here, you have to be very careful. And also, if you need to move an objective from one team to another. So here you go. Sometimes you require this flexibility of moving objective from one place to another. Related to KPIs, same thing. You can rename a KPI, you can reorder a KPI, and here reorder also will give you the relative order. Higher is will give the objective a priority on top, and delete a KPI, move a KPI from one team from one uh, uh, objective to another. So this is how you move KPI from one objective to another. Okay, related to project, also the same thing. You can rename a project, you can reorder a project, like we saw here, relative order, delete a project, and also move a project from one objective to another. Milestones, same thing. You can rename a milestone, reorder milestone, delete a milestone, and move milestone. Can you see the trend here for every single one? Now it's different. The next one is competency. So here you have to determine, are you going to be utilizing the appraisal module for the company or not? If they don't want to use it, and if they are happy with the HRMS system, this is when you lock it off. You just click off and say, I don't want to use it, and it will not show up anywhere. So here also you can add a competency name, so leadership, teamwork, and you give it weight specifically for a manager level, and same thing for the user level. This is a staff. Sometimes they are different. Leadership is could be for manager 10, which is much more important, and for staff could be only 5 or 2. Sub competency weighting ratio, and this is for non-managers to at least to reweight his KPI versus the competency. So usually 40/60 is common. Also for managers, what is the split between the competencies and the KPIs? Usually for the managers is more weight given to the KPI versus the competency, because you assume that they are top-notch people already, they have a top leadership skills, and so it might be something like a 20/80. So the big weight is really going for the KPIs and not the competency. The staff might be the opposite. You can always rename a competency if it's already there. So this is all the companies that we already have. You can change them, delete them, add new competencies. And this is how you can edit a competency, by also changing the criteria and the characteristic of this specific competency. Also, you have the set rating configuration for the how the calculation will be done between all the KPIs, and how the appraisal will be determined by putting uh, the rating floor, the rating factor, and also the rating threshold between the rating. So this is an example. So when you hover here, it will give you an example how things are calculated. If you saw, example here. Uh, the last one is the 360 degrees criteria. You can always eliminate them and just probably put one, or maybe just add one called overall, because this is the most important one. Usually if people want to give 360 criteria, it could be for the overall performance of the person. So this is the competencies. Tasks are also easy. You can send a monthly reminder for everybody. It could be on and off about their tasks. Also the status. So we have many status for the task not started, in progress, completed. You can always change that as needed. We have also an audit log. You can click this one, get all audit log. This probably will take time because it's going to give you all the logs by everybody. Anything changed in the system, it will be logged. This is part of the governance, strong governance of Kippy. And also that will show up in the right KPI and the right, for example, milestone and project. Integration also is very common. You can integrate KP with literally any system that you want, from Microsoft Suite to Oracle Suite, different HRMS system and financial modules and ERPs. So this is a purely technical part that probably you need the technical team in UK to support you for a specific integration with specific system. So this is the end of the setting. I hope this was beneficial to the business owner, sorry, to the KPI system owner. And I hope that also you will find this one very useful by controlling, the KPIs and other items from here much easier than to go screen by screen. So I wish you best of luck with that.